Fucking 6, 5. I don't know. I lost count. Maybe it's 7. I don't fucking care. But yeah, watching this video by this guy, that fucking simple. I want to watch this one. I want to do this one specifically. I already did. I didn't feel like doing it anymore after the last video, but I figured, this one I should do one on because I used to be, a furry on the younger side. I used to be one for a while, in fact. So I figured I'd know a decent bit because of this topic. And yeah, anyways, let's just get this over with.
Everybody in this fandom at one point was a young fur, which is a furry under the age of 16. Now, for some of us, our younger years as a furry was really cringy, and we may have annoyed a lot of the older furs.
Yeah, maybe in my time I was very cringy and very fucked in the head.
So I thought,
So are so was most of the other furries that were my age that I met. Like almost all of them were fucking annoying as hell in one way or another and complete degenerates.
make a video giving some of you younger furries tips and advice, so you hopefully won't.
Here's a tip. Here's some advice. Don't be a furry. Simple as. Oh, and here's a tip. Don't go to E621 or any other site like that. Don't go to, honestly, don't go to any furry centric website or any part of a website that has furries in it, because you're gonna see pornography and it's gonna fuck your head. Like you're gonna be fucked in the head, like horribly fucked in the head. So yeah, just don't
Make
be a
the
furry.
same mistakes as I did, and hopefully not be as cringy as I was. So let's get right into it. Okay, tip number 1. People are gonna call you weird for being a
Rightfully
furry.
so.
But
They're
this
right.
phantom is weird, and that's a good thing.
It's not.
Because if
They're weird in a bad way. Like there's weird in a good way. There's weird in a whatever the fuck it doesn't matter way. Then there's weird in a bad way. Y'all are weird in a bad way. Y'all are jack off addicts. Y'all beat off in your goon cave. Get a fucking goon, goon cave like 20 times a fucking day. Y'all are incredibly degenerate. Seriously, like, come on. Come on, man. Like, man, I'm getting fucking tired. So I can't get my points across, but yeah. But man, look, the furry fandom is incredibly degenerate, incredibly fucked up. Like, it has a lot of fucked up shit in it. When I was a furry, when I was a furry, it was when I was like 12 to 14. Wait, am I getting that right? Yeah, 12 to 14, I was a furry. About, not exactly, but I'm about that. Maybe, depending on how you look at it, a little longer, a little less. But for about 3 or so years, I was a furry. And the time I was in that shit, I met the most wackiest, fucked up people ever. I met some alright people, but for the most part, I met really weird, fucked up people that were incredibly degenerate. Overall, those 3 years were horrible, pretty miserable. I hated I basically, man, it sucked. And a lot of problems I had were directly or indirectly because I was a furry. Overall, it's not worth it at all. Like, if there's any younger furries watching this, or anybody interested in becoming a furry, whatever, heed my warning. Hear me out, okay? Really think this shit through. Do not just go in there. Be careful what you look at. Be careful who you talk to. Look, if you become a furry, chances are you're gonna regret it deeply. I sure shit do. I'm full of regrets from that time. So look, just trust me. You don't want to do it. It'll fucking change you for the worst. You'll be miserable, an addict, and you'll be dealing with some of the worst people you've ever met in your entire life. So just don't do it. Don't do it. For your own sake, just don't do it. For your own sake and others around you, just don't do it.
everybody did normal things, you would never really find something new and it'd be very boring. So just be yourself and don't change yourself for anyone. If you
That extends to be yourself and don't change, in a sense, just don't go with the flow, you know? If you're gonna be a furry anyways, do not go with the flow at all. Do not just go with whatever's popular in there. Do not assimilate to the popular culture in the furry fandom. Keep to your own corner with your own friends. Do not go out too abroad. Be careful where you go. Look, if you look, basically with the furry fandom, it's like a fucking minefield. But instead of mines, it's pornography and fucked up people. You have to be careful where you place your feet. Where you go when you're inside the furry fandom. It's best if you just don't become one at all. But if you're gonna become one, you just gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful, or else you'll end up a fucking degenerate piece of shit. Awkward, addicted, degenerate, miserable piece of shit.
want to be a furry, be one, and don't let people tell you otherwise. Also, being a furry is a lot of fun. You meet friendly, kind people. You get to make really awesome characters and art. There are a lot of good artists in our community.
You wanna know the funny part about all that? I met a lot of furries in my time. When I was a furry, I met a lot of furries. Almost all of them were not decent, fun people. Most of them were assholes, or annoying, or just horrible people. I'm not getting into it here, but a lot of them were just not good people. And on top of that, I mean, what else do you say? It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it wasn't fun for me. It's so miserable. Honestly, let me listen to what he said again, because I already forgot.
If you want to be a furry, be one, and don't let people tell you otherwise. Also, being a furry is a lot of fun. You meet friendly, kind people. You get to
Yeah,
make
that's not it.
really awesome characters and art. There are
Uh, that one, I mean, thing is, the thing is, I was never a good drawer. I never tried it, to be honest. It could help you become a better artist, but it's not worth it. You'll go in about a couple of years later. You don't even recognize yourself, man. It's miserable. It's miserable being a fucking furry, man. In my time, in my experience, just don't do it. Like, come on, man. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. You want to learn how to draw? Go to other communities. Go to another community. Somewhere safer. Somewhere safer for children. Somewhere where you don't have to fucking. Somewhere where you won't end up becoming a degenerate. Somewhere where you won't end up seeing horrible things.
a lot of good artists in our community and a lot of good content creators. We have animators like Chipflake. We have content creators like Majira, Telephone. I know she does content. There's a lot of just good content in this fandom as well. And like me, I got
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. There's not that much good content. Not that much good content. Some of it's alright, but most of the stuff that's alright is the stuff that doesn't have to do with furries. Like the stuff made by furries that doesn't have to do with furries. So yeah, just saying.
the best content ever. Okay, I was joking there. So, what's that? Enjoy being in this fandom, and if anybody calls you weird, just let them, because it is a weird, it is a weird hobby, but it's one of the best in my opinion, because there's just
No, think about what would you gain from being a furry, and what would you lose? Well, what will you get? Well, to go for what you gain, it comes to what you gain. I mean, you might learn how to draw better if you put yourself to it, but you can get that elsewhere easily. You can, if you have an interest in anthropomorphic animals, you're gonna trust that a bit there. You can make yourself a fucking avatar or whatever. That could be cool for you if you're into that kind of thing. But as for the cons, you'll lose your innocence. That's for damn sure. You'll lose your innocence. Almost every childhood character, maybe watch Looney Tunes growing up, you know? Hell, Toy Story even. Well, Toy Story lesser so it doesn't have any furry anthropomorphic characters, but yeah. You watched Wile E. Coyote or Looney Tunes or anything or fucking Mickey Mouse, whatever. At some point when you're in the furry fandom, you're gonna see something horrible that you never wanted to see. You won't be able to get them the same way again. You're gonna have your innocence ruined, your childhood ruined. It's that simple. Top that. The amount of porn you're gonna have to see on a daily because of those freaks. It's very likely that how they'll kind of coax you into it, they'll always send you it, all sorts of shit, all that. Chances are, you're probably gonna get addicted to it. I mean, I fucking did. I managed to get out of it, but I did get addicted to it when I was a furry. Simple as. So, you have to deal with that. And also, a lot of people that are in there, they aren't sound in mind. A lot of them got a lot of issues. A lot of them didn't get enough attention, when they're younger, so they become attention-seeking, annoying assholes. Or they were mistreated at some point or something, and they're just overall assholes. There's also the occasional zoophile, and I remember one guy I met. He he was manipulative. He was an asshole. He had a really weird thing for gore, and he loved to send it to everybody he could. Overall, he wasn't a good person. He's the worst I met, thankfully. I never came across anyone that tried to do something with me. You know what I mean? No adult trying to do something with me. I think really I was lucky enough not to deal with that. But that's also a very common thing from what I've heard from other ex-furries and other people that were furries, and other people that fuck words. But I've heard that's happened a lot from people that were furries, or even at the time when I was a furry, I heard other furries talk about that, or other ex-furries, or ex-furries talk about that. So it's a very common problem. Any big area with a lot of furries in it, a big gathering of furries, chances are there's one kid touch here and there. There's one kid touch here and there. So overall, the pros do not outweigh the cons, brother. My sister, who the hell you are. You're just gonna go in. You're gonna get your innocence ruined. You're gonna become an addict. You're gonna meet horrible people. All for what? So you can express your hobby in anthropomorphic animals. So you can get a cool suit or a cool profile picture. Maybe learn to draw. I mean, it's not worth it, is it? Besides, you can learn how to draw other places if that's what you want to do. You can learn plenty of other things you could learn in the furry fandom. You can learn elsewhere. You can learn elsewhere without having to deal with all the cons. Overall, it's not worth it. It'll be among one of the biggest regrets in your life. Or you may just end up being so far gone in the head that you'll learn to love the misery. So overall, as I said, not worth it. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Just so much to do and there's so many friendly people. So don't change yourself for anyone. Tip number 2. Don't buy a fursuit when you're still growing. Now, I have seen a few younger furries do this, and I know they look super cool, and you want one a lot, but don't buy one until you have finished growing, because you'll spend all your money on a really nice suit, and then you're going to grow out of it in 2 years or so. So wait until the age of, I would say, at least 16 or older, because you should, by then, should be kind of stop growing. You know, you should be at your maximum height. If you want to play it safe, wait until you're about 20 or something like that. But just make sure you buy one when you finish growing or you start slowing down on the growing side, because you don't want to buy one and grow out of it. I mean, if you do want to buy one under the age of 16, buy something like a mini partial, because they're cheap for a suit and you won't really grow out of them. So maybe get something like that. Do not buy a full body one, because they're expensive. And not just that, but you shouldn't buy a full body one, even if you're over the age of 16, as your first, because you might buy it, and it might turn out you don't like fursuiting, so you spent all that money into that suit, and now you're not gonna use it, or wear it, obviously. So, buy a mini partial as your first one, or partial as your first one anyway, so if you like it, then, then you can go and get a full body, and if you don't like it, then at least you haven't spent thousands and thousands and thousands on the suit. So, keep that in mind. Tip number 2.
Yeah, there's another thing I meant to, I forgot. If you do go real deep into the furry shit, with all the other issues you'll pick up, it's also real expensive to get into. I mean, I always grew up poor, so I never, I didn't have much interest in fursuiting and whatever. And my parents were real conservative, so they wouldn't even remotely entertain that idea. But from what I've heard from others about just fursuits and commissioning, it's incredibly fucking expensive. Like, a lot of furry shit is, like, incredibly expensive. It's like a real... It's a hobby mainly for, like, upper class, not upper class, but, like, upper middle class type motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Overall, just... Yeah. So, yeah, if you get too deep in it, you'll also run your pockets dry on top of all the other shit.
2. Do not trace or steal art. Now, I know this happens, but most young furs don't do it on purpose. Some of them don't understand that they can't trace art or use art they find on Google. Now, you can trace art if it's for educational purposes and you don't publish it saying you did that. So, if you do trace art, don't publish it and say, oh, this is the art I draw. Don't do that. If you want to trace art for educational purposes, do it in your sketchbook. Keep it in your sketchbook. Do not go out to the public saying you did that, because that is stealing art. And if you do find an image of Google, like an icon that say you really like, make sure you get permission of the artist or the owner. Don't just take it off Google and use it. What's it? Make sure you have permission from the owner or the artist. Now, if you do want an icon that looks really nice or some art that looks really nice, again, don't trace or steal it. Commission an artist. Save up your money and commission an artist, or draw it yourself. If you're, if you want to get good at art, or you are good at art, draw it yourself, because you can improve your art by doing that. And not just that, but it's something you've actually made then. But if you can't do that, or you don't want to do that, commission an artist. What I said, save up your money and commission the artist, because there.
Yeah, save up for a good couple of years just to get a picture of a fucking human wolf hybrid. What can you do with that? That picture of the human wolf hybrid? I just put it as a profile picture, just use it to look cool, I guess. Even though you won't look cool to anybody, you'll be seen as cringe, but okay.
There are plenty of artists in this community that do cheap commissions or really expensive commissions. It's up to you what kind of quality you want. Also, do not steal someone else's persona design. Now, this can be done on accident because there are a lot of personas in our community. So,
One thing I forgot to mention that just reminded me of. There is a lot of drama in the furry community. A lot of it, whether it's big or small. Everywhere you go, you're gonna have to deal with some bullshit drama, and chances are you're gonna become somewhat forced to pick a side. And the drama is always about shit that don't matter, or it's something that's like kind of fucked up. You know, overall, you're gonna have to deal with just a shit ton of drama about someone stealing art, or someone being an asshole to someone else, or someone saying something fucked up, or someone actually being fucked up. There's drama everywhere you fucking go, and every furry hates each other. That's what I that's what I recall at least. Overall, just furries tend to be rather dramatic assholes, is what I'm saying. So, yep, yet another reason why it would be worth it becoming a furry.
sometimes you may make one and it may accidentally look like somebody else's. That's fine. Just change your design a little bit more to make it more unique, and then you should be fine. But do not steal someone's design, because it is really annoying. For example, Hunter, it took me a while to design him. Even though he looks simple, it still took me a while to design him. And if I did see somebody stealing my design, I would get very, very annoyed at them. So do not steal people's persona designs. Tip number 4, do not complain about commission prices. Now, I already know I've said this in one of the other tips, but I want to make it very clear that it's not very nice to complain about certain artist commissions and that. So, just what I said, save up your money, don't complain. If you can't afford them, go to another artist. Now, this also does apply to fursuit makers, because a lot of people do, complain about fursuit prices. The reason they are so much money is because they're a lot of money to make. You know, the fur and the foam and all that together is not cheap to buy. So that's why the prices are up. And not just that, but most of these artists and fursuit makers actually they make a living off their art or their fursuits. Now, tip number 5, please do not come out as a furry. Being a furry is just a hobby, so please don't come out as one, because it's not a big deal, it's only a hobby. If you don't feel comfortable,
It's more than a hobby. In most cases, let's be real, it's a fetish. But even still, you shouldn't come out for having a fetish. Come think of it, there's no real case where you should be coming out at all, because, being gay is kind of a bad thing, I'll get into that. I might get into that in a different video, you know. Probably not a YouTube video, that's for damn sure, but yeah. But overall, yeah, you shouldn't. I don't know why this even needs to be said, really. You shouldn't come out of the closet for having a fetish.
telling your friends or your family, don't tell them. They don't need to know. It's like what I said, I see a lot of young furs doing this, and
Okay, there it goes. The fuck? Oh, yeah, that shit. But yeah, look. One, there it goes again. This guy, like a lot of things I hear from furries, like, don't tell your parents, they'll misunderstand it, they'll misunderstand. I think that's because they understand just how nasty their community is. Yet for some weird fucking reason, they still want as many people to join as possible. Always trying to do everything they can to get kids to join for some reason. Trying to promote it to kids, even though they know how unsafe it is. Sickening. Disgusting. The fact that they're so, even if they're not pedophiles themselves, the fact that they're complacent, so complacent into the 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 ruining of kids' innocence, the corrupting of children's minds. The fact they're so complacent is sickening to me. I don't understand it. If you understand, if you clearly understand why parents would not be okay with the furry fandom, you clearly understand what's wrong with them, what's wrong with the furry fandom. I mean, so so you know it, so you still choose try to spread it. Man, that's fucked up. Especially when you try to spread the kids. That's fucked up.
And it's like what I said,
It's
it's just a
sickening.
hobby. It's not like, it's different if you obviously were coming out as gay because that's a sexuality, but this is just a hobby, so you don't need to come out as one. And what I said, if you do feel comfortable telling somebody, tell them. But just remember that some people may react not how you expect them to react. Some people might be mean about it, and some people
Rightfully
might be
so,
really
kinda.
chilled about it. Okay, I hope that helped with some of you younger furs, and if you do have any tips from any of your younger ones have tips, or even older furs have tips, comment them down below, because I think that'd be really cool to help out some of the
Here's a
younger
tip, don't be a furry.
furries
That's
to
simple.
not make the same mistakes. And what I said, I hope this helped you a lot. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next week with another video. Goodbye.
Man, I probably fucked my algorithm. Oh man. Oh, that might be next video. I have to take a minute to think about that. I don't know if I want to fucking. I don't know if I want to fucking react to more bullshit, but yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Once again, I don't know how to do outros. I'll see y'all.